It's Tom Sidney Bushnell, aka Numbers, here from Psych.Club, and I'm here with a good friend of mine, Peter Wilson, basically the common law king, the king of common law. Not that we have kings, but you know what I'm saying. So, Pete, it's great to have you with us. We did a couple of shows last year. We're now into 2025. It's rapidly whizzing on, and it's great to have you on the show, buddy. You got some exciting news. You got something coming up, yeah?
Yeah. Thank you very much for having me back on. It's always a pleasure. But yeah, we've got a big event that we have coming up in less than a month now. It's just flying towards us, which is our Checkmate the Matrix Live, which is a weekend event, which is going to take place in Newcastle upon Tyne, the party capital of Europe. And it's going to go over
the
Saturday and the Sunday. Yeah, exactly. Without the sunshine.
That's it. Yeah.
But still, nobody wears a coat.
No, they're brave up there north. It's grim up north, but they're brave up north. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, we're going to have. It's literally a freedom event. That's what it is. But I'm trying to think of the right way of putting it. But it's not a freedom event like let's moan about everything that's wrong. It's literally workshops. It's like it's solutions. What we are literally the solutions to what's going on. That's exactly what it's for. So there's going to be a lot of different workshops on. They're talking about like alternative health, alternative finance, and then obviously let's just say lawful instead of legal. So an alternative way of life.
Brilliant. Fantastic. That would be fantastic. If you're anywhere in the UK, you probably get some people coming from Europe, I'd have thought, for your type of event. Have we got any? Let's have a look in the chat. We've got some regulars here. We've got Teresa, Gillian, Janine. Does anyone have any questions for Pete right now? He's got plenty to share with us, but if anyone had a question, or you know what we'll do, we'll maybe part way through or towards the end, we'll have a series of questions. Unless we see unless you see one on the can you see the chat as well, Pete, your end?
I can, yeah.
So unless there's something that pops out while you're talking, you see like as a thing you want to that's relevant, then do that. But maybe towards the end we'll have a bit of a question and answer for people if people have got any questions.
Yeah. No problem.
So all right. So the event is at the beginning of Feb. First of Feb, is that right?
1st and 2nd of February, the Saturday and the Sunday.
Okay.
It's going to be held. It's a really good venue. It's called, well, our part is called the Biscuit Room, it's in what is called and it's in what's called the Biscuit Factory. So, I mean, I'm just presuming it's like it is an old biscuit factory. I'm presuming that's what it is.
Yeah.
But it's right in the heart of the city, right in the city centre of Newcastle, not far from the River Tyne. So
is it near St James's Park? Is it near the football stadium?
You could walk there. Yeah, you could walk there.
Yeah.
It's probably halfway between the River Tyne and the and St James's, maybe a little bit further, sort of like east towards it, But yeah, it's not far. It's only half an hour drive away from the international airport. You probably get to if you're in a taxi, you get to St James's in about 10 minutes, 12 minutes.
Okay, that's cool. The only time in this lifetime I've physically been to Newcastle was I was hired to give a speech. So I guess I could start doing them again now, but I used to do motivational speeches before 2020 and the numbers came, etc. And I do stuff with football teams and sports teams and stuff. And I got a mini contract from, who were they? It was HMRC of all people, but it was like their training stuff. Yeah, I know. But so I did one in Glasgow, Newcastle. Hang on, did I do the Glasgow? I don't know. I did Birmingham, Southampton, Newcastle, Belfast. I didn't do Glasgow, so I did Belfast. So I went up to Newcastle, got the train up. I was like, I'm enjoying that, And I walked up the hill to St James's, and then did my event. So I think I arrived earlier. Or I did it after. Anyway, I did it. I didn't get to see the game, but I saw Bobby Robson statue and all that. And
Yeah.
I know the boys now. I know Eddie and Jason, so the manager and assistant manager up there. They're boys from down here, but yeah, I know both of them. And I'll have to get up there. I'll have to go up because I'd love to go to the Gallagher and see the games, but I've only seen it from outside. So yeah. But it's got a lovely vibe.
Yeah.
Newcastle, and other people that I think they'll appreciate the comment. Newcastle reminds me a lot of Liverpool. I was like, because it's quite this sort of unique, sort of tribal community, and that's what it felt like when I was there. And Liverpool also reminded me quite a lot of Dublin in many ways. Maybe a little bit of Belfast, but they're similar. Just the sort of unique cultural. They could almost be like mini countries in their own right, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Well, it could be because they've all got their own language, haven't they?
That's it. Yeah, mate. You've got their own language. They've got their own code of conduct. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. So, and if you tie it in as well, I mean, obviously, you've got a lot of Viking descendants, like in Newcastle or the northeast. That was where the first invaded. The Viking invasion was actually in the northeast.
Yeah.
The first one, but obviously they'd settled across in Dublin as well. That's who created Dublin, was the Vikings. So there's a lot of tie-ins on there. Well, I will just say one comment. I'm watching comments coming in there.
Yeah.
Like people saying, like, they'd love to go, but it's a little bit too far. Yeah, we know that. But we do have a live stream that we're going to be doing as well.
Oh, brilliant.
Right? We're going to live stream the entire event. We bought this massive, great big doodah camera, right? It is like the Dom's doodahs. It is like proper live streaming that they use to do church services of all things. That's I mean, that's why I got it, because it's obviously for a big stage event. So anyone can go to checkmatethematrix.com, right? Checkmatethematrix.com, and if you go in there, you'll see eventually find the links where you can go in. You can either buy a ticket if you want to come up and have a party with us, or you can get to the live stream as well. Either one, and whoever goes to the live stream will get a video recording of the entire event as well.
Brilliant. So people can buy the live stream. They get a ticket for the live stream. Is that Perfect.
Yeah, get a ticket for the live stream so they can enjoy the whole event from home in the comfort of their own home, and they'll get a recording of it as well. So if they fall asleep or can't watch it all, and they get the copy so they can watch it at their leisure. I mean,
and they can refer to the notes afterwards. Yeah,
exactly. But the MC that we've got for the entire event is a guy called Eddie Elwood. Now he is 5 times Mr. Universe.
I'm going to say his name sounded familiar. I wasn't sure from where, but it rings a bell. Yeah,
that's like more than Arnold Schwarzenegger.
What's it? Is that Dorian Yates? Is he like a Dorian Yates? Because he which one did he do? Can't remember. But he's okay. So this guy Eddie Elwood's got more than Schwarzenegger. Yeah,
exactly. Plus, he was like, when he's a legend in like strongman competition. So he's like, England's strongest man, and he went into like the world's strongest man competitions. So he's like, he mega famous, and he basically used to run all the security in the northeast of England. So he's going to be the MC for the event. Anyway,
so he's someone then.
Yeah. I've assisted him, helped him in other things, similar to what me and you have done together, So that kind of stuff. So yeah, good friends. I mean, he's an activist. Let's put it that way. So he fought the system all the way through lockdown. He was up there fighting and kept his gym open. He's obviously got a big gym in the northeast. So yeah, from all that. So anyway, he's going to be doing the actual MC.
Okay.
But we've got speakers coming from all over the country. I mean, but one of them guys, like
Mark's going, isn't he? Is Mark speaking? Is he?
Mark Atwood, he's coming. Yeah, he'll be there.
Yeah,
he's going to give a chat. I was looking forward to that. Bit of fun on that one.
Yeah.
But and we've got a guy called. Yeah, exactly. Seb Lomas is this guy's name. He's a dentist, a holistic dentist.
Really?
So like really like about how to do it properly without having like things that poison you and stuff like that. So that's I'm really interested in that.
That'd be good. Can he regrow teeth? Ask him that. When you see him, ask him, because I've heard it's doable. I believe it's doable, and there's a few bits floating around it. But if you've got someone that's like an actual holistic dentist, then That'd be
Yeah,
interesting to
but
find out if you
you're
could
not.
do that and how you do it.
Can you not do that with a spooky machine?
See,
Like
I asked,
the right
yeah,
thing.
that's it. So I asked John White, the inventor of that.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
he said that he'd seen some. I think there was some reference. Some people were saying about it, but he wasn't like. I don't think he was saying categorically, "Oh yeah, this is what it can do." But I think he was saying that there was some. He'd seen some people kind of postulating that that was doable. So it seems like, I don't know, if someone could crack that and actually do it with it like precisely, that would be a
Mm,
massive market all over the world.
it
And
would.
I'd love to use it because then you could get rid of your fillings. You could get let it grow and get your fillings out.
Yeah, but
And
this
regrow your
709.
wisdom teeth back. I mean, there's a reason they're called wisdom teeth.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I
So
had mine removed when I was in the Navy. Like a
it was
naval
basically
surgeon.
everyone has to take them out. It was like nonsense. But yeah, that'd be interesting to ask that guy. What
I
can be
will
done?
do. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I will.
yeah,
But he's really big into obviously the health side of it and trying to remove like the amalgam and the
yeah.
aluminium and the mercury, anything like that. So I mean, that's going to be like a really, really good side for the health. But continuing on the health, though, we have a woman's going to bring a bioresonance machine. Where you can do it remotely or with the little sticks in your hands, and you get the full bioresonance scan to check everything in your body, all your
Nice.
organs and everything. And also going into well, it's all about oxygen chambers and salt chambers. That's all that very similar to what Mark does over in Ireland.
Yeah,
So
the
she's coming
5D
to
help.
do that. And we also have a guy, really good speaker, and he's going to teach everyone how to be completely private in online with all these devices. So stop them actually spying on your laptops and phones, and how to actually make it much more private and protected.
Mm.
So that would be like obviously a really, really good thing to learn on there. So there's a lot going on. It isn't just about like, whatever you would want to call it, but obviously we do have stuff talking about the common law, if you want to call it that. A lot of it's going to be going on GDPR, how to
Mhm.
actually live privately more, because it truly is that how you can close down a lot of these corporations that are stealing your data and you don't even know, and selling
Mhm.
it for profit.
Mhm.
Supermarkets, we've got a lot of cases now against supermarkets because when you walk in, you see a big picture of yourself. Or you
Yeah.
try and buy, yeah, or you try and buy something that when they make you do all the checking out, there's a picture of you, right? You can
I
stop
know.
all this. We can fight these people. So there'll be talks on how to do all that, but also on the financial side, how to get involved in decentralized finance to try and protect you from the banks, which it's their biggest control system, isn't it? If they can
DeFi.
control your money, then
Yeah.
that's it.
DeFi through decentralized finance. DeFi. Yeah. Be
Yeah,
defined. Yeah.
exactly. So we've
I
got some
remember when
experts
that
coming
when
up
that
and
thing
talking
came
about
out.
that.
I was down. It was. I think it was January 2020. I came down and did a bit with Jason at Bournemouth, actually, at the football club. Did a demo there. And I was in London at the time, but I came down and went to the Asda near the supermarket, near the football ground afterwards. And then I went down to the pier and Boscombe and just saw it was a beautiful day, this bright January sunshine on the water. But I remember seeing this thing, like the Big Brother thing in Asda. I was like, "What's this? This is." And then it was just beginning the rumbles of and obviously we got to March and everyone knows what happened then. But I was like, "What's this?" Yeah, I
Mm.
remember that distinctly. The first time I ever saw it, I remember where I was because it was the first time.
But the thing is, though, I'm trying to get loads of groups to work together and work even
Mm,
just with their own local groups. So if you have, I mean, like what they're called, like meeting in the park or whatever they're called. There is lots
mm,
of these groups what privacy groups, common law groups, whatever you want to call them,
mm,
and they meet regularly. Now, what they need to do is organise and go to their. It's not even if it's not the one they use, so they don't want to upset where they go shopping. Right? Go
mm.
to a supermarket and go in after each other, 10 minutes after each other. And all you have to do is say, I want to see my data. You've actually just took my data there without consent. And they need, under Article 6, clear unambiguous consent to take your data.
Mm.
So you're not going to argue with them, though. All you say is I just want to see it. I need you to provide me with my data. So GDPR, it's very clear on, let's call it law, because that's what they do.
Mhm.
You can ask for what's called an SAR, subject access request. You can either write it or you can do it verbally. So you walk into the supermarket, you can verbally say, I request my data that you've just took on that video. That's my data, so I need to see it all. Now we've got video proof this works. This guy walked through every single, I think it was the Arndale Centre in Manchester, something like the biggest one in England or something.
Okay.
He went through the entire centre and then he asked for his data, and they refused.
Mhm.
So because they refused, right, he got compensation to start with, because they refused like an SEO, which is legally they're obligated to give it.
Mhm.
Plus, they had to get his data, which was a video of him in every single section.
Mhm.
But under GDPR, they couldn't show anybody else. So somebody had to literally sit there with all the videos and blur everybody else's faces except him. And this is what we're trying to say to people. Just think about the headache and the actual, like the admin nightmare you would give all the supermarkets, right?
Mm.
So you pick one brand of supermarkets, and everybody across the country just went in like 10 minutes after each other. I want my data. They have to, by law, provide you with the data within 30 days.
Huh.
And if they don't, that's a breach, right?
What
So,
did he get in the compensation? What did he get in the end?
about 5 grand.
Wow.
So
So it's
if
worth
you had
doing
a
it, folks.
group, of course, if you just kept doing it and got all your friends to do it 1 week, then the next week, then the next week, how long would it be before they
Till
had
they
a
stopped.
massive admin nightmare that was
Yeah.
costing them money? They'd go like, get rid of these bloody cameras. Let's get some people back on these tills and serve people instead of having these stupid cameras.
Yeah.
And that's an action. That's better than walking out marching in the street protesting, because you're
Yeah.
going to get a faster result, man.
Yeah. That's specific, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
target, laser
specific.
target.
Yeah. Wow. Well, there you go, folks.
But what about the car parks, though? Right, then private car parks. I mean, aren't they the bane of everyone's life?
Yeah.
Yeah, you used to be able to park anywhere, even in the bloody supermarkets. Now, if you quick get shopping, don't
Yeah.
talk to anyone, don't you dare have a coffee, get out of there, right? Isn't
Yeah.
it? So why doesn't you get a massive group of you again? Drive into the car park,
Yeah.
drive straight out, don't stop, and then request your data, because they've actually took your data in and out. No legitimate interest, by the way. If you don't park in a place, no legitimate interest, so they're not allowed to hold it. But if you all requested it and you
Mm.
kept doing it, right, and it would just smash them up, man. Because
Yeah.
there was a massive admin nightmare, and they wouldn't be able to do it on time. If there was thousands doing the same car parking company across the country, they wouldn't be able to cope with it. It would cost them fortunes. I mean, these companies didn't exist a few years ago.
Yeah.
They just pop up everywhere now. Oh, let's go and like rent this bit of land and make everybody pay 100 quid for 2 minutes.
Yeah. NC, or is it N? I want to say NPC, which is probably appropriate as well, but NCP, isn't it? I think that's one of the
But
big ones.
I'm not sure if they're the ones that are like tied in with the big what do you call it, the multi-stories and that, but it's like Euro Park and stuff like that, and
Okay.
all these companies that have
Yeah.
just come up. They're disgusting. And then the debt collectors that they use and the attitude that they have is just pure filth.
Yeah. Have you ever spoken to Martin Lewis?
No, no. Yeah, I mean, I must admit, some of the stuff that he comes up with, you can actually pick the little bits out of.
Yeah.
But he's 100% obviously owned and controlled.
Yeah.
But some of the stuff
That's
you
what I
can
would
get
suspect.
bit.
But as things are loosening up now, like people are, big. I mean, the tide is turning. Not everything is done yet, but the Othello checkerboard is being changed. We haven't completed the whitewash yet, but it's it's getting there. And I was like, it's just as you were talking about that, I was like, we should get you on with him, because then, and you never know, maybe because they're all they're turning like Mark Zuckerberg, meeting with Trump, Mar-a-Lago, they're going to kind of get closer to Twitter in terms of their censorship and everything. And I think YouTube will get to that soon. Just just jesting with you YouTube. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I think that's, so I was like, I wonder Martin Lewis and Peter together, that might be it. Yeah. But we'll see. Who knows? Maybe he'll get in touch. You never know.
Yeah, that would be good. I mean, like, I'm not sure if you'd 100% agree with all of my approaches, but
Yeah.
and the thing is, I'm not doing anything wrong. This is purely, just using their rules, but in a way we can use it against them. But it's let's call it law, because that's what they call it, the legislation. I'm just using the legislation in a way that we can actually put them under pressure instead of the opposite way around, which is what they usually do.
Yeah, and it works. I mean, I've used some of your methods, and they do work, folks. Peter was great, and from start to finish, he took me through a couple of things, and I got the result I wanted. And it's amazing.
Oh.
It is. You use it in. You use the law, or I guess we'll say that, but use it in the way that we can. But what they do is they play on people's ignorance, don't they? On fear and ignorance. That's what they
Fear
do.
and ignorance. Yeah,
Fear and
exactly
ignorance.
that.
But if you can get past both of those, get past the fear, realize you're a sovereign, eternal being, you've got power, you can make your decisions, and then use those things when you need to, go in, get the job done, get out, you can benefit. And Peter, there's a lot of people with pieces of the puzzle, but Pete's got so many pieces of it, and I used it twice specifically for actual, hefty things, and they both worked. So I want to thank you again for that, Pete.
Right, more than welcome. But that's the thing is when you actually use their rules.
Yeah.
So you're 100% not doing anything wrong. You just okay, so this is the rules, and a lot of it we use a mixture of like GDPR, which is UK and EU legislation.
Yeah.
So it's like completely valid and still in force. And we just mix it a little bit with, say, for instance, the Law of Property Act, because that actually governs debts.
Right.
Like any debt, and any debt, be it secured or unsecured, is classed in the UK and UK law as property. So, and if you look at the insolvency laws, like people who've gone bankrupt, what they'll do is they'll say, well, we have to look at your assets. So this guy owes you £1,000. This guy owes you £10,000. That is an intangible asset. So you can't see it because they owe you it, but it's still classed as an asset. So therefore, so that makes it property.
Right.
So that's how we have to research and find out, the way that these debt collectors work, because they're very sly and they actually obfuscate the actual wording, and they muddy the waters so people don't actually comprehend what they're actually reading. Legalese has gone on steroids, let's say, for instance.
Oh yeah, and that's what 99% of it is. People just, I mean, if you just at common law, do unto others as you follow the golden rule, which eventually we'll get to. But all this other thousands of statutes and hodgepodge, whatever, and then people are deluged with, just bombarded with so many things, and they just want an easier, peaceful life. So they're like, okay, they don't want to do it. But if you take up your shield of faith and follow the stuff that Pete talks about, it works. It really does. I'm not just, otherwise I wouldn't be telling everyone about you, because I've used deliberately and specifically on 2 occasions your material. You guided me through it, and it works. So it works, people. If you've got anything that you think this would help you, that Pete could help you with, and his network, just tap into it, because if you follow the steps, you will get an outcome. I got an outcome twice, and it worked.
And it is just follow the steps. It's literally a process, and it's like the rules and everything that we do. We say we've got a huge book here, the big court rules, and we just follow the court rules, read it, go it, and do what they tell you. And literally, it's what the solicitors do, what the barristers do, and we just kind of follow their footsteps and mimic what they do, but we do it on the opposite side. We don't fight for the corporations. We fight for man and woman to actually put them in charge of the corporations, how it should be.
To free themselves, to get that noose, those invisible flaxen cords away from people's from their beings, from their bodies, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, and like what you said before is to like get rid of the fear, and this
Yeah.
is part of it, you know. And like they say, he who wishes to be deceived will be deceived.
Yes.
So unless you find out what your rights are by studying, or at least, you know, get along to that event, or get the live stream of the event,
Yeah.
or checkmatethematrix.com,
Yeah.
and then you'll learn not only a lot about health, but also about how to protect your rights, how to be private, and then, like I say, escape from the control of the banksters as well.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. You know, we were talking about lawyers just then. So there's a line in Back to the Future. I think it's Back to the Future 2, where they go into the future, Marty and Doc, and basically Doc says that all lawyers are like kind of done with. They're gone, which is great. It's like, because that's all part they perpetuate. You know, the whole. So that's basically saying in the future, at some point when we don't know when it will be, it will return to just natural common law, which is, you know, the basic principles of being good humans to each other without all this other, you know, massive industries and micro industries within it, and industry. All of that's going to go. But in Back to the Future, the film of all films about time travel, is like, yeah, in the future, lawyers are done with. They're gone. I was like, bingo, they're all gone.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that would be brilliant, wouldn't it? But if you go to, let's say, like right, if you look at like the Bill of Rights, which I'm kind of not always the greatest fan of, but also going back to the Magna Carta 1297, and I say 1297 specifically because that was sworn into statute,
Okay.
right? Not the 1215 one, right, where they argued about it and they got rid of Article 61, actually, but the
Huh.
1297 Magna Carta was sworn into Parliament.
Okay.
So if you combine them two and you look at the actual way that a court should be, there shouldn't be a judge at all. There should only be a convener who assists in making sure that the law is followed, does not give any advice and does not give any opinion either. Right? So then you have two parties that can go against each other, or if you are accused of a crime, not a criminal offense, right? The play on words, but an actual crime, which would be, you know, against the Ten Commandments, for instance, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, right? Shall not give false witness, i.e., don't tell lies, you know, perjure yourself, that type of thing. That's a crime, right? But you should only be doing that and being tried in front of a jury
Jury of your
of
peers.
your peers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what does that mean, a jury of your peers? It doesn't mean, right, 12 people that coming from, you know, like bowler hats and bow ties, you know, and they're all wealthy and you don't know them. It means people that you know. That is what your peers means. So people that can judge you on your character and what you are like as well, rather than a complete stranger. And again, under the actual real law, which we have case law to back it up as well, they have to do it with a conscience, which is a soul as well as a mind, not just the facts. It has to be, well, the conscience says this. It has to be fair. And if there is an act or a statute that is unfair, the jury, by real law, is allowed to actually go find not guilty and have that statute thrown out of the actual statute book.
Huh.
It's
Wow.
called annulment by jury, is what it's called.
A
There's a
moment by
very
jury.
annulment by jury. Yeah,
Oh,
it's a very
annulment by
famous
jury.
case.
Okay. Yeah.
Like annulling the actual
Yeah.
law, if you want to call it that. So it's like William Mead and William Penn. I think it was, I can't remember now, like 1760, something like that. In there's a plaque in there, the Old Bailey in London. It used to be really on prominent display. Now they're hiding it somewhere, but it's still there. And it tells of them how they got arrested for preaching like unlawful congregation or something in the street, in Church Street, I think. So, you know, they said, like, you know, it's not against God's law. I'm passing out God's. So they said, I'm not guilty. You
Yeah.
can't charge me with that. And the jury agreed, right? So there
Yeah.
was a judge. The judge actually locked them up in prison. The jury wouldn't let them out. No food, no drink, you know, because he saw you got to reverse that. They're guilty. And they were like, no, our conscience says right, that they are not guilty, and that statute needs thrown out. And eventually, they had to, they did a habeas corpus so they could get them released, and then the judge obviously got kicked out, and then they got the act repealed. So William Penn, this founder of Pennsylvania in America,
Mm.
for a very, very famous case, and that shows the jury, trial by jury, and it's still now valid. I know they try and change it and they say, oh no, you have a jury trial. A jury trial is not a trial by jury, completely and utterly different. So but you should be able to claim it. You ever get in trouble, you do something naughty, then you have a trial by jury of a jury of my peers, and that's how it should be. And that, like what you're saying, if there's no lawyers, because you go and say, well, I'm going to give my case over. That's how it should actually be, to a convener and not a judge who gives opinions to people.
Wow. So the convener, who would that be?
Well, let's say it would be like a judge, right? But there wouldn't be a judge. They wouldn't be saying, oh, well, look, I'm saying he's guilty or anything. It's somebody who organizes and runs it, makes sure that people turn up, make sure that they're all on time and that they're not, like breaking the law. And that's really what the job of a convener. That's what it should be, not a judge sitting with a wig on telling you you're all guilty or anything.
So are there cases of when, maybe that's not the right term, but occurrences of this with a convener and jury of peers, like here in the UK, for when people have been
Well,
brought?
that one there that I'm saying, that's the most famous one, and that is case law. It's still valid case law, so you can
Okay.
state case law when you're actually going in, because that's a precedent that's been set. They can't ignore it.
Okay. So people could, if they just were aware of that, could use that, and that could start to flourish in many cases now.
Yeah, but it's still also in the Bill of Rights as well. That they're allowed a jury of their peers. So you've just got to be able to talk it
And that
properly.
would be worldwide. You could do that. You could use that principle worldwide.
Any common law jurisdiction. Yeah. It has to be a common law jurisdiction, not civil law, say, for instance. A lot of, I mean, I don't know how much you would argue, but like France, Spain, Germany, they are civil law rather than common law jurisdiction.
Oh, but
So,
we're common law, are we, in the
yeah,
UK?
yeah, United Kingdom. Think of anywhere that was in the Commonwealth. United States, Australia, New Zealand, most of that, things like that.
Huh. So existing
Some of them.
Commonwealth countries and ones like America. What's
Mhm.
the word? Is it succeeded? Yeah, years ago when they got out of it. Hadn't even
Well,
thought that. Hadn't even thought of them being a Commonwealth country, but I guess they were. That's what the whole ruckus was all about, wasn't it?
well, I don't even know if it was Commonwealth. It was owned by the
The
East India
Crown.
Company or whatever it is. But
Yeah.
but what they did is they actually copied the Magna Carta, really,
Mm.
and set up their own constitution, using what they saw as that. So that is a common law jurisdiction.
Yeah.
So all of the United States is common law. Yeah.
You know what's interesting? So I did the numbers on your website on Checkmate the Matrix. So Checkmate
Uh-huh.
is 69, which comes to people, financial, wealth, enjoy, knight, as in like Knights of the Round Table. But then the Matrix is my first number I ever got, 118, which was my cousin Paul's date of birth, and I got the numbers coming when he died and met Ivanka Trump, and so it's all tied in. But add them together is 187, and that comes to comes to Donald J. Trump 187, which also comes to George Washington, and Trump always. And one of he's famous for many things, many statements, but he'd always talk about $1.87, 187. So he was always coding that number 187. But that's your title in your book, in your website there, Pete. So Checkmate the
Yeah.
Matrix is 187. We've got I know you've got a dash soon, but let's answer some questions. Do we have any questions from folks in the chat there? Anyone got any questions you want to ask Peter live on the show? Who's got a question? There's Starfire, there's D, there's Tracy, Julie. Is that I can't read that one. Highest rights of mankind. Anyone got any questions? You answered that one at the beginning. Let's see if they kick in. Can we once again have it? I'm a member of Pete's and don't know you, Tom. What's a summary of what you do? Okay, so I do numbers, meaning the alphabet, the order of the alphabet. It has a sequence. So A is the first letter of 1, B is 2, C is 3. So I add up the numerical value of words, names, places, people, films, you name it. I can add it up, and then I connect the dots on the value of that word. So, for example, I mentioned Trump. Trump is 88. In Back to the Future, you have to travel 88 miles per hour for time travel. Just recently in the global news, you had the Tesla car that blew up. It looked very much like a DeLorean car from Back to the Future, but it was right next to it was outside the Trump hotel in Las Vegas. And Trump's uncle, John G. Trump, used to work with Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla's all involved in time travel. So people that know my work from the beginning will know that I talk about Trump a lot with Back to the Future and all these other threads that I pull together. But that gives you an example of how the numbers correlate. And he uses it when he talks on his rostrum, on his podium. The text donation number is 88022. 88 is Trump, 22 is MAGA. Add them together is 110, which is president. It's also Elon Musk, and Musk is kind of running with him almost like a sort of shadow president as well, kind of not an official vice president, but kind of, there in the pack. So that's how the numbers work. You can just connect the dots on all kinds of stuff. So, but yeah, Pete's Checkmate the Matrix 187. That's what it comes to. So any questions you've seen there, Pete?
Yeah, that Joan of Arc or Joan Arc, something it's just saying what about council tax? I don't argue with the council tax. I don't challenge the obligation or whatever, anything like that. All I do is I attack it with GDPR after they've actually spoken to a debt collector. As soon as they've spoken to a debt collector, because they haven't got a legally executed court order, then they have breached data because there is no legitimate interest. That's what you attack. Might not be the way that you want to do it, but I always try and look at the easier way. I mean, think about, it's a funny analogy, but Al Capone, how did they get him? They did it because they didn't try him for murder. They did it because he didn't pay tax. Mm-hmm. So what I'm doing is I'm saying, don't fight the council tax, find out what they do wrong and attack what they do wrong. So they actually breached the data, no legitimate interest because there's no legally executed court order. Another woman, D. Lazenby, she's just saying, what was the link? It's checkmatethematrix.com. All the way through, checkmatethematrix.com.
Brilliant. Is this going live on do you know if it's live on your channel as well, Pete?
I didn't even try.
All right.
Just when it's got, I've never done this bit before. I
haven't. So it's just we had one of your members from Checkmate the Matrix. So she's the one that asked that question about numbers. So I was like, maybe we've got some of Pete's over here. But we'll put the link. We'll put the link up.
I've got a Checkmate the Matrix platform, which is not it is a website, obviously, but it's not that website I'm talking about. That's how to go and find out about the event. But I've got my private members platform, kind of like Facebook, if you like, but private, and everyone can talk to each other. But it's also where all of what we call the classrooms are, where people can learn all about this stuff for themselves. GDPR, private trusts. The decentralized finance, all that type of stuff. So that's all on there. So I'll put it up on there. So maybe 2 or 3 people would have jumped on.
Brilliant. Thanks, Duff. I think you were asked a question about do I believe we're in April. I guess you're referring to the calendars. Haven't really thought about it too much. I mean, there's so much in terms of the timelines. We could be. I don't know if that's what your question was. I just kind of caught it a glimpse and saw that you were asking. Don't know. I mean, globally we're in Jan, but we could be in any number of possible months and years and timelines. So yeah, but thank you. Good question. Anything else? Any other questions for Pete before we go? I think we're good. You heard it was true. Okay, cool. All right, Pete. Well, it's brilliant having you on, buddy. We'll do it again soon. And
yeah, definitely.
Good luck for the the event. It sounds like it would be brilliant. And any closing words before you depart?
Well, yeah, I mean, just, like that there, the event itself, it's on checkmatethematrix.com. It's going to cover everything about how to get away from the banks, protect yourself from anything bad that might happen to the banks, like the reset or the changes, protect your money before it happens on decentralized finance, DeFi. That'll all be covered. Experts are coming up to talk about it. Not me. I'm bringing people in to share this knowledge, as well as like the holistic health from a number of different experts in their own field. And other people talking about Cali Spell. Some people might know, coming to talk about the law, as well as a couple of more of us, and spreading it about like GDPR, get rid of debts, as well as protect your finances, but then also on private trusts as well. So it's all about looking after yourself as a man and woman. So it'd be great to have you there. Remember, there's a streaming link as well, so you can literally just watch it from your own home.
Fantastic. Are you on TikTok yet, Pete?
Yeah, TikTok. Yeah, massive on TikTok. I've got about nearly 60,000 followers on there.
Are you? Fantastic. What's your TikTok? Just Peter Wilson or Checkmate the Matrix?
Checkmate the Matrix, yeah. And I think that you got to, it's an underscore checkmate, underscore the underscore matrix. There's a fake one on there which has got hardly any views. You'll see it straight away. And I don't know what they're doing, trying to sell some kind of crypto rubbish or whatever. So just watch that one, little fake one. But yeah, we've got nearly, it's got to be like about 58,000 followers on there now. It's going well.
Nice. I just joined TikTok just about 2 weeks ago, so I did a live on there earlier today, and I've had a few videos go viral, so that's fun. But I tried to join a couple of years ago, and it just kind of wouldn't let me. It was all part of the shenanigans we have to get through. But I'm on there now, so it's good if Pete's on there. So maybe we'll do a live on there sometime, because that's a good way to get the word out as well.
Yeah, that would actually be good, because it's a different audience.
Yes.
I've go on, I get thousands and thousands of views on, so I mean that'll help each way anyway. That would be really good. It's a good idea.
Yeah, brilliant. All right, my friend. Well, it's great having you on, and we'll speak again soon, because we've got the stuff with Anthony coming up some point in the future when we get some results of that. So people will want to know the results of that as well. And excellent, good stuff. Yeah. All right, Pete. And brilliant. Wilson is 92, and the word numbers is also 92. So there you go.
There you go.
There you go.
So what is that then? 92. What would that give us then? Quickly before we have to shoot.
So Wilson comes to 92, but also if you spell the word numbers, just purely numbers, that also comes to 92. So that's what that is. So Peter Wilson, Peter's 64, which is still love me when I'm 64, but Peter 64 plus 92, 156. That comes to Barron Trump, comes to 33. Harry Kane, Peter Wilson plus Tom Numbers, 296. There you go.
I don't want it coming to Harry Kane. It's got to come to Alexander Isak.
Maybe, who knows? I haven't worked out Isak's, but funnier things have happened. It probably would be the same one. Someone can check that. So anyway, all right, folks. Thanks a lot, Pete. I'll see you soon.
Thank you very much. See you later.
Cheers, man.
Bye. Bye. Had to figure out how to get out now.